My Adventures with Superman completely changed the way people look at DC animation. Instead of being another dark, brooding take on superheroes, it was bright, heartfelt, funny, and packed with personality, and I loved it, the fans loved it. Now we know My Adventures with Green Lantern is coming next, focused on Jessica Cruz, but that got me thinking, who's next? Which DC characters would thrive in this format and give us the same mix of humour, heart and action that made My Adventures with Superman such a hit? Now, these aren't random picks. I've narrowed it down to 5 characters who not only could work in animation, but each bring something brand new to the series, either as part of the DCU or as a completely separate series. From fan favourites who deserve the spotlight to underused characters with massive potential, here are 5 My Adventures with shows that DC needs to make. And stick around because some of these might surprise you. I'm Phil from DC Chronicle, and if you enjoy speculation and character discussion, you're in the right place. So consider hitting that subscribe and like button and let me know who you'd like to see get a series in the comments down below. Number 1, Nightwing. When people think of sidekicks who stepped into the spotlight, no one did it better than Dick Grayson. But despite being one of DC's most beloved characters, Nightwing, he's never really had like a proper starring role in animation outside of like ensemble casts, so My Adventures with Nightwing would really change that. This could work either inside the DCU or outside of it. We know there's going to be a dynamic duo, hybrid animation, live action project that's coming. I'm really excited about that. I'm pretty sure we're still unclear as to whether that's going to be in the DCU or not, so depending on where that goes, this can go the other way and tell a different story. The premise is simple. Dick leaves Batman's shadow to make a name for himself in Bloodhaven. This immediately gives the show its own identity while still allowing fun guest appearances from the Bat family when it makes sense. And if you think about the kind of tone that a My Adventures with Nightwing show could have, you think like a Spider-Man meets anime-inspired action, he's quippy, he's funny, and he also carries the emotional weight of trying to live up to Batman whilst proving he doesn't need to be Batman. And no, I don't mean like fuck Batman. Villain-wise, you've got a whole roster that feels perfect for this type of series. You could have a more traditional Deathstroke, not like the version that we got in My Adventures with Superman. Blockbuster, Lady Vic, and even lighter rogues like the Raptor. The best part of this series would be Nightwing isn't a loner. He works best bouncing off of other people, sometimes literally, so if it's a rotating cast of allies like Oracle, Starfire, or even Wally West, that could keep things really fresh. What makes this work in the My Adventures with series format would be that tone. Dick's a character who does balance humor and heart in a way that feels tailor-made for animation. You could have a light-hearted, funny episode alongside deeper emotional arc about identity, legacy, and growing up. Nightwing has always been a fan favorite. This show could make him a household name. What do you think? Does that sound good? My Adventures with Nightwing? Drop a comment down below. Number 2, Blue Beetle. So when the Blue Beetle movie released in 2023, it quickly became one of the most underrated DC films in years. I personally loved it. It was my favorite DC movie of that year. Fans connected to Jaime Reyes, his family, and the cultural identity at the heart of that story. It also left the door wide open for more adventures, and that's where I would love an My Adventures with Blue Beetle series. I really think that could shine. We know an animated Blue Beetle series with the movie cast is strongly rumoured, and that cast coming over to the DCU is something that seems to be happening, and that makes perfect sense. So instead of trying to mount like a massive big screen sequel right away, following it up with an animated continuation makes so much sense. So why not, instead of having it a separate thing, move it into My Adventures with and have a My Adventures with Blue Beetle series that follows on from the 2023 movie. So we get to see Jaime juggling his double life, working, family responsibilities, and of course, the scarab that's bonded to his spine. That scarab dynamic alone would be perfect for animation. If you think about the hilarious banter that they had in the movie, the sudden power surges, and some of the visual sequences with the scarab that you could do in animation that would be really difficult to pull off in live action. And then this show would have so much heart, like the movie had so much heart with his family, his mum, his sister, his nana, and even his friends as well. Could bring back Victoria Cord. The relationships that grounded the film could carry over seamlessly. Every episode could be as much about family bonds as it is about superhero battles. If you bring in villains like Ladama or even other scarab wielders like a Black Beetle or something like that, you could set up ongoing story arcs and then some fun cameos, right? Booster Gold would be great to show up in this. I think Booster Gold is coming to the DCU sooner rather than later, so having him in this would be incredible. And it could also carry on the whole what happened to Ted Kord tease that the movie's post-credit scene had. I really don't want that to just be kind of left unanswered, and we can answer this here. And so what you could achieve with this series is, instead of just being more Blue Beetle, we could cement Jaime Reyes as one of the central figures of the DCU. The 2023 film did give us his origin. An animated series could carry that on, give us his legacy, and make him a huge part of the DCU. Number 3, Zatanna. Zatanna has always been one of DC's most fascinating characters, but she's basically never been given the spotlight she deserves, in my opinion, and she's the most underused character in all of DC. That's what I think, at least. My adventures with Zatanna could finally change that. Imagine a series that follows a young Zatanna trying to balance two worlds, performing as a stage magician in front of live crowds while secretly mastering real sorcery behind the scenes. That dual life creates endless opportunities for both drama and humour. You know, one episode she accidentally enchants an entire neighbourhood, the next she's dealing with demons, magical corruption, or the burden of living up to her dad, her father, Zatara. What makes Zatanna so perfect for this format is the visual potential. Her backwards incantations would look amazing in animation. The kind of dreamlike magical realms and reality-bending fights would look stunning in this format. The show could shift tones seamlessly, light-hearted magical mishaps in one episode, dark exploration of the cost of magic the next. In terms of supporting cast, there's so much to play with Zatanna as well. Justice League Dark needs to be represented, and you could represent them here. Deadman, Constantine, Swamp Thing, they could all play a part. And if we're keeping this in the DCU, you know, Zatara, he was in that mural in the Hall of Justice in the Superman movie. Bring him in and see where he's at. They could even tease more of that mural stuff while they're at it by bringing him in. And that's even before we get into Zatanna's kind of girl pals. Raven, Starfire, even Wonder Woman would be great additions for supporting characters. And unlike darker takes on DC magic, this version of Zatanna would be fun, stylish, and deeply human. She's a character who blends charm with power, comedy with tragedy, the exact balance that made My Adventure with Superman resonate. So an animated Zatanna could be the magical heart of DC, and we could do that in the next wave of animation. Number 4, Plastic Man. If there's one DC character who feels absolutely tailor-made for animation, it's Plastic Man. Live action has never really quite known how to handle his powers without looking awkward, if you think about the elongated man stuff from The Flash. But in an animated setting, you can lean fully into how absurd it is, and that's where Plastic Man doesn't just become like a funny character, he becomes iconic. This series would follow Eel O'Brien, a former crook trying and often failing to prove he belongs amongst the heroes. Every episode with this, I think it'd just be pure chaos, right? So one week he's infiltrating a mob hideout, the next he's literally turning into a trampoline mid-battle or disguising himself as a piece of furniture and having a bit of a prop battle. The action sequences could be outrageous, unpredictable, and so creative. But here's the secret to Plastic Man, right? So beneath all the slapstick comedy is a surprisingly heartfelt character. He's a screw-up seeking redemption, a man haunted by his criminal past but still desperate to do right. So that mix of wild humour and emotional grounding would make the show much more than just kind of a visual gag reel. If we're bringing him into the DCU as well, I know I said My Adventures With can work both ways. I think we should do a Terrific series in the DCU. That's one thing I want so much, is a Terrific live action series. And this would be a great way to introduce the character. We could even have Mr. Terrific and Metamorpho show up as cameos, or even supporting characters, setting up a live action Terrifics off the back of this as well. The same way that My Adventures with Superman humanized Clark through charm and relationships, My Adventures with Plastic Man could use absurd comedy to deliver something heartfelt and unique. Done right, it could be the funniest thing DC's ever done. while still carrying the emotional punch that you don't really see coming from a character like Plastic Man. Number 5, The Flash, specifically Wally West. So for years, fans have been asking for a lighter, more optimistic take on The Flash, and if there's one character who embodies that perfectly, it's got to be Wally, right? It's Wally West. So an animated My Adventures with The Flash series focused on Wally would bring that sense of fun and humanity that made him a fan favorite in those Justice League cartoons. Unlike Barry, I mean, I'm kind of an age that I do like Barry, but unlike him, Wally is more down to earth, more relatable, and more prone to just making mistakes. He's an everyman speedster juggling superhero life with dating, jobs, friendships, and failing just as often as he succeeds. And the mix of fast-paced action and personal struggles is perfect for My Adventures with episodic animation. The visuals, I mean, just think about it, they'd be next level, right? So with animation, you can unleash the speed force like never before. Vibrant, anime-inspired sequences where Wally phases through buildings, races across dimensions, or creates constructs of pure lightning. Pair that with the Rogues, Mirror Master, Captain Cold, Weather Wizard. Every episode could deliver inventive, action-packed set pieces. Plus, we'd finally see the Rogues get some love, right, which they definitely deserve. But like all of these ideas, the thing that interests me is the emotional hook, and that's really where Wally could shine with this. His constant tension between honouring Barry's legacy and carving out his own path make him relatable in a way that few other heroes are. He's fast, he's funny, he's flawed, which makes him perfect for this kind of storytelling. My Adventures with the Flash could give fans the Wally West that we've been waiting for so long. A character who's equal parts hilarious, heroic, and deeply human. So there you have it, Nightwing, Blue Beetle, Zatanna, Plastic Man, and Wally West. 5 characters who would thrive in the My Adventures with format and bring something completely new to DC animation. Each one has a unique mix of humour, heart, and action that could match with what made My Adventures with Superman so special and could even surpass it. So here's the real question for you guys. Who do you want to see get their own My Adventures with series? Is it one of these 5? Is it someone completely different who you think deserves that spotlight? Drop your picks in the comments. I'll feature some of the best of them in a future video. If you enjoyed this breakdown, please hit that like button and subscribe to DC Chronicle for more deep dives. And if you want to keep the binge going, click on screen for my Peacemaker Season 2 ideas that could reshape the entire universe.